Hi, I'm Kristen Amdahl with Red Heart Yarns. In this video, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for making the race car throw. At a glance, this looks way more complicated than it really is. In fact, to just take a look at it, I'm sure that you would assume, like I did, that these are giant squares worked with the framing in the black and white, and that you have to do half motifs and corner motifs to make it into a square. Not the case at all. If you look over here in the corner, I can show you how this square is created. There's one square worked 36 times, and then you join them together. It's worked on the diagonal, meaning you start with a point and you increase out to this point, working in rows only, so you're never changing more than one color per row, and then decreasing down to the other point. And once you have this complete, what you're going to do is just alternate the shape, or not the shape, but the position of them to create this pattern. And you can follow along with the picture to figure that out when you get to that point. And let's get started on the first motif. The motif begins with our cherry red Super Saver yarn and the Susan Bates crochet hook in a size H, 8, which is also 5 millimeter. We're going to start with a chain 6, and we're going to double crochet in the 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook. Just a quick reminder, this does not include the loop that's on the hook. That's not your first chain. That's just your working yarn on the hook. You're going to start counting here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, which is a yarn over. Insert your hook in the 4th chain. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And do that in the 5th chain. Yarn over, insert your hook in the 5th chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And repeat that again in the 6th chain. Row 1 is complete. Now, just a quick reminder before we go forward, I want to point out the anatomy of the stitches on here because there is a spot that we're going to work into in the following rows. Of that first chain 6, we have the chain 3, which is going to be talked about in the following rows. That top of the chain 3, this is the 3rd chain, and we will be working into that. So keep a reminder that that's the top of the chain 3 in the next row. Okay, so row 2 starts with chain 6. And we're going to work a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, same as we did at the beginning of row 1. And we're going to double crochet in the 5th chain from the hook and the 6th chain from the hook. Now, remember how I said we needed to remember what the top of the chain 3 was? This is the top of the chain 3. We're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, and now work a chain 3, and then we slip stitched into the top of the chain 3, but now we have that chain 3 section worked, it's turned on its side, so now we're looking at it horizontally. We're going to work 3 double crochets around the base of that, using that as our base. So we're going to yarn over our hook, insert under the chain 3, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and work 2 more double crochets in that space under the chain 3 from row 1. Okay, row 2 is complete. Moving on to row 3, we're going to work chain 6. This starts the same as row 1 and row 2 started. We're going to double crochet into the 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook. Okay, now we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 of the previous one. Chain 3, and working underneath that chain 3 space, work 3 double crochets. Then over here, here's our next chain 3 space. We're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, chain 3, and work 3 more double crochets around that chain 3 space. You notice how each row has started identically the same, and then row 2 and row 3 finished the same, but there was just one more repeat in row 3 than there was in row 2. I'm going to set that down and show you. This was row 1, row 2 went this way, then row 3 went this way. So row 4 is going to have 4 repeats, row 5 will have 5 repeats. So as we keep going, we're going to always have one more repeat in this increase section. And I have the red section already completed. I want to show you what that looks like. Here I have all 6 rows of the red completed. And this is where we'll start by adding our second color, which is the heather gray. I'm going to join our yarn with a slip stitch in the top of the last stitch worked. And start our row the same exact way with a chain 6. Double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, the 5th, and the 6th. Then slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 in the row below, chain 3, and work 3 double crochets around the side of that chain 3. And you'll want to repeat that across the whole row and fasten off. At this point, you would continue increasing for a few more rows, but now that you have the pattern established, I'm sure you feel comfortable in working the rest of the increased rows. Now I want to show you how to work the decreased rows, but my sample is going to be just a little bit smaller than yours, and I'm also going to work the colors out of sequence just to show colors that are going to show up better for your viewing. To work the first decrease row, if you are working a decrease row in the same color without fastening off, you are going to slip stitch across those last 3 double crochets worked on the previous row, slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, or if you're changing yarn, you're just going to begin in the top of that chain 3. Basically, we're skipping this outside edge now and wanting to work one less repeat inside the last 2 squares. So to join it, I'm going to join in the top of the chain 3, skipping those first 3 double crochets. I'm going to join with a slip stitch, chain 3, and basically work the latter section of the rows that we've worked already. So it's a chain 3, work 3 double crochets around the side of the chain 3 space. Oops, I missed a step on that last one. Yarn over, insert your hook in the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Do that for a total of 3 times. Then we're going to slip stitch into the next chain 3 space, chain 3, and work 3 double crochets around the side of that next chain 3 space. You're going to do that across the entire row until you get to the last one here, and it ends with slip stitching into that chain 3 space. And you're going to decrease down in the pattern following the color sequence and following the repeats until you end up with 1 repeat of the pattern again, just like you started at the beginning. So it increases out and then decreases down. Then following the picture, you'll join them together in the schematic or in the positioning so that the pattern looks like larger squares. There's a border to follow, and that's also simple to follow along in the pattern. The race car throw crochet pattern and many more are available on the website. Please come check it out at redheart.com.